Channel 5 News presents Iowa Business Week with Ken Gullette reporting.
Good morning and welcome to Iowa's only newscast for business. During the next half hour, flood insurance. Is it really too expensive? Maybe not as expensive as some business owners think. The family leave bill is in effect for 2/3 of people working in Iowa. We'll tell you what it means for business and employees. And some are predicting the death of video stores. Find out why they might be wrong. All this and much more coming up, so let's get down to business. A delegation from Iowa is heading to Mexico next week for a grain and soybean trade mission. Farmers and grain business reps will try to enhance relationships with Mexican processors and importers. State Ag Secretary Dale Cochran says Mexico offers a ready market for Iowa's agricultural products. Some Iowa businesses were dragged into the baby Jessica controversy last week. Jessica's adoptive parents were forced by courts to return her to her biological parents in Iowa. A national adoption rights group was so angry it called for a boycott of Iowa manufacturers. The California group singled out Maytag, Deere & Company, Archer Daniels Midland, and Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing. Company spokesman believed the boycott is unfair, and Governor Branstad's spokesman Dick Voss called it insensitive and unrealistic. Des Moines is back in business, facing a disastrous tourist season because of flood publicity. The city wants the world to know it has drinking water and is okay. So more than 1,000 horn-blowing people lifted their glasses and toasted each other for making it through the flood. Governor Branstad was there, but the man who stole the show was Waterworks Director L.D. McMullen.
I really appreciate all of you, and I really give you all a toast because you're what made it all work. Thank you very much.
Everyone hopes the word will get out and people will stop bypassing Iowa on their summer trips. Well, a record of sorts has been set in Fort Dodge. The Chamber of Commerce there has signed up a lot of new members. I visited Fort Dodge Wednesday to find out how they did it and to find out why it's in a business owner's best interest to get involved with their local chamber. This is a list of new members of the Fort Dodge Chamber of Commerce. About 125 businesses of all types. Ellen Deal and Dave Flattery were in charge of the membership drive. With an idea from Paul Oliver, they used telemarketing as a technique to call prospective members.
We had 6 teams of 10 people each. They made phone calls for 3 hours. We contacted approximately right around 850 to 900 people. We ended up in a 3-day time period with about 125 new members.
One of the results of this new growth is a much busier Chamber of Commerce office. Some of the new members say they had never been asked to join the chamber before, and they want to meet other business people and get involved in the community. The chamber has committees that study local, state, and national issues that affect business. They also take part in community image projects. The more members the chamber has, the more impact it has. But why else is it important for a business to join the chamber?
One of the main reasons why you want a chamber to be in a community is that they look at the economic well-being of the community. Our purpose here is to create jobs and to bring new business to town. If you can create activities and interest in locating here, that prosperity doesn't only help that new business, it helps the entire community.
You're investing in the future of the city of Fort Dodge. There are no short-term benefits that you really see from investing. What you're doing is, it's a long-term investment that hopefully someday will reap some type of benefit either for yourself or for your neighbor or for the general community.
Jim Bird is a chamber member. He owns a restaurant lounge called Marvin Gardens and a new sports bar. He's been very active in the chamber, and he's president of the Main Street program.
As a community, if we want to grow in business, the community also has to grow. We need to put something back. We can't stay in the same spot. We need to develop the community for our businesses to grow.
Many businesses move into Iowa because of the quality of life here. Ellen Deal, Dave Flattery, and other Chamber of Commerce people believe you get out of a community what you put into it, and they hope to grow even more in the future as they work to make their town even better.
The past 2 months, we've taken you into the life of a Quad Cities man who's living with AIDS. We've seen how careful Rob DeSleer has to be with things most of us take for granted, such as the water we drink and the food we eat. We followed him to the doctor to see him begin treatment with a new drug, and we went along with Rob and his parents to pick out a grave site. Tonight, you get a chance to ask questions about Rob's life and about living with AIDS. News 4's Ken Gullette is live with Rob at the office of the AIDS Project Quad Cities. Ken?
Don, a year ago, the AIDS Project had 40 clients. Today, it has more than 200. AIDS is here in the Quad Cities, and a lot of people with HIV turn to the AIDS Project for help. A lot of our viewers will recognize the man behind me, Rob DeSleer. We've put him in the spotlight for the past couple of months. Rob, what kind of reaction have you gotten from the features that we've done?
For the most part, it's been a real good reaction. I had a lot of people calling and with their words of support and asking what they can do as far as volunteering for the AIDS Project or helping really in any way that they'd be needed. So the reaction has been really good so far.
It takes a lot of courage to put yourself on public display like you have. What would you most like to get through to people?
Well, I think one of the negative calls that we had over this, which there's only been a couple, was after the first episode that we did. A lady called and said, "Are we supposed to feel sorry for this gay man?" And there was nowhere in there in the first thing that we did that said I was gay. So just the association with the disease itself, there's still a lot of misconception about the disease. So that's the biggest thing that I feel needs to be changed.
Well, the phone lines are open here at the AIDS Project. The number is 324-8638. Rob is here along with Beth Wehrman, Executive Director of the AIDS Project. And if you have a question for Rob or a question about AIDS, call the number. Now, we're going to be back a little bit later in our newscast. Rob will be here to answer some of the questions that people call in the next few minutes. Reporting live from Davenport, I'm Ken Gullette, WHBF News 4.
Okay, thanks, Ken. We'll be back with that a little bit later.